Hi there, it's Mark Wickersham. Let me show you something incredible. This very simple but effective brochure is responsible for helping an accountant to get significantly better prices, in fact thousands of pounds of better prices for something that she used to give away free of charge, helping clients set up cloud accounting systems, setting up QuickBooks Online. Her name's Sophia Botchway, and she's kindly allowed me to interview her so we can learn her incredible story, exactly what she's done, the results she's got, and she shares her 3 key pricing tips. Let's go and watch that video now. Hi there, Sophia. Thank you so much for joining me on this interview. And I know you've got some incredible stories that I'm dying to hear the details of these stories. But just by way of background, could you just say a little bit about you, your firm, where you're based, the size of the firm, just so we've got a bit of context about your firm?
Thank you, Mark, for giving me this opportunity to share my story with you. I started from an accounting investment banking background, actually. I started with retail banking, then moved on to investment banking, and then moved to central government and was trained by the National Audit Office as an auditor. Stayed there for 12 years, and I decided that they'd making too much money out of me, and it's time for me to make some of my own money, and thought I knew it all, like everyone else, to set up my own accounting practice. So that's what I did. Currently, I live in China, a small village in Oxfordshire, in the Chiltern Hills, and that's where the practice is based. I've been registered for 7 years now, but actually been working properly in it for about the past 4 years after I left my job. And I must say, the beginning parts were really, really hard work. Really, really hard work, because obviously, like everyone else, I was doing things which I thought was the right way to do. I know I want to earn at least £30 an hour, so my work was based on charging per hour to most of my clients, and that's how I was doing my practice. And again, I was doing all the work and then sending out an invoice and waiting for the money to come in. And that's how I was doing the practice for the first 2 years. I was putting in an awful lot of hours, working evenings, weekends, constantly tired, but not really seeing much return. I keep thinking, maybe I should go back to the NAO because I'm working a lot more for a lot less money. But then I came across a video by accident on LinkedIn by Mark Wickersham, and my whole life changed.
So that's a fascinating story, and obviously a bit of an unusual background, your past before you start an accounting firm, but certainly not unusual, the kind of the challenges, frustrations, working too many hours for not enough money, which I know a lot of accountants suffer from that. Now we've been, I think I first met you, and it was actually December of last year, so we're talking about 8 or 9 months ago. We've been working for a while now. Just tell me some of the, I know you've done some incredible things with changing the way that you price. Could you perhaps talk me through some of the things that you've done in the area of pricing?
Yeah, Mark, for example, before I came across your value pricing policy and charging on value rather than hours, I did a prior year review for a client of mine. I noticed that they had £25,000 of losses that could be claimed back. Now that took me 4 hours to do, and I charged them £30 an hour, and I got £120 plus VAT. Look at the way you price and learning from you. If I've done that on a value pricing basis, i.e. 25% of getting in that £25,000, I'm sure you can do the maths how much money I've lost, and I can kick myself. But I've used that knowledge to look at other clients, and I've completely moved away from the hourly rate pricing. I now have 3 other staff in my practice, and I'm now training them. All of us are using the same method that we're learning from you. Also, one of the other areas, well, Mark, like I said before, we will do the work, we send an invoice out, and then wait for the money to come in. We've moved from that to monthly flat rate, where the client select what package they want. Again, something I learned from you. We're not doing the work in advance and waiting for the payment to come in. We if it's a backdated work, we're getting the client to pay the whole lump sum up front or split it into 2 or 3 installments. Future work is already being paid for in the monthly installments through the pricing package practice we're doing now. And again, thanks to you, Mark, I learned about Go Cardless, the most amazing invention ever. Go Cardless now collects all our payments for us on the 1st of each month from the client. It's better for cash flow. We know what we've got coming in most of the time. We know when it's going to be in, how much it's going to be, and we can actually provide a better service for our clients, not having to chase them for payment, not having to wait to see when the money's going to come in, and staff not having to know when they're going to get paid. So all in all, it's a win-win situation for all round. And it's not just beneficial to us, really. Clients, one of the things that we've found out is a lot of clients hate having surprise invoices. By giving them the opportunity to choose how much they want to pay each month, they could then plan their own cash flow, knowing how much is coming out of their account, when and how, which makes life easier for them as well.
Exactly. Now I know, Sophia, that you're just like me. You're a big fan of QuickBooks Online, and it was a few months ago you sent me a really kind letter telling me about a story of how you started pricing, where you set people up. Perhaps they've used an old desktop system like Sage. You've been setting them up on QuickBooks Online, and you've been pricing that in a different way. I think that you said that in the past you used to do that setting up for free, but you've changed the process and got different results. Could you describe what it is that you've been doing in that area and the sorts of results that you've received?
Yeah, previously we're setting up our clients on a cloud software, i.e. QuickBooks or Sage, and we throw that in for free. So the client doesn't pay for it, we pay for it, and we're looking at it as an incentive for them to sign up for us, something to give to them. But again, I came across your brochure on clouding. I have some brochures printed. I tested the water. The first client we had, I took the brochure along, Mark, and I gave them the information and the brochure prices. That first client chose the premium package on the cloud. Normally we'll give that away for free. Straight away we had the top price for that, which worked out to be about £1,500. We have since been using that consistently. No client gets a free software anymore. Again, what I've learned is previously we're not giving the clients opportunity to make their own decisions. I was making a decision for them by giving this package for them to free, and I feel they don't actually value it. Most of them were taking it, signing up on it, and not actually using it. We were still doing all the work on it for them. So something we're paying for, and it's costing us time. By the client actually choosing the package, the cloud package that they want, owning it, they actually start using it, putting the transactions in on themselves. That is saving us time. So they're in effect doing the bookkeeping for us, and we're just checking over to make sure that they're charging things to the right way, which is in itself really amazing. It saves us time, we're making money from it, and it's hassle-free. We're not receiving receipts in an envelope or a bag through the post anymore. We still have a few clients we're working on who are still stuck in their ways, but hopefully we'll get there to changing their mind too.
Brilliant. And so you've been using this a brochure which sets out different options, and you've mentioned that one case where the client straight away went for the most expensive option, which I think you said was about £1,500. So over I think you've been using that process for about 4 or 5 months now. Looking at that period as a whole, how many clients have bought that cloud accounting setup service, and what sort of success rate are you getting in terms of, do they all buy it, or do some not, and do they go for the premium one, or do they tend to go for the middle option? What sort of overall results are you getting?
Well, I actually start getting clients on that from when I came to the cloud conference, and that's when I had the brochures printed. we've seen 20 clients and given them the opportunity of using the cloud package. 15 of that accepted straight away, and they all went for the premium straight away. The other 5 didn't accept initially, but then we quoted them of us doing their bookkeeping rather than them doing the cloud work themselves at a lot higher price. They then came back and accepted it. So in all, we've had 100% take up on our cloud package, which only 1 client actually went for the basic setup. All the other 19 have all went for the premium setup, and they're doing the work themselves.
Wow, that's interesting. So I guess one of the key messages there is that when you present clients with different choices, different packages, very often they choose to pay you more money, which is an incredible result.
Yeah, a lot of clients don't want to be seen to be mean or cheapskate, so they'll go for the premium, most of them. I did have 1 client who, on the pricing package, decided not to go for our service because they think it were expensive. They were offered similar service, as they say, for a quarter of the price, i.e. instead of paying $277 for us, they were offered the same price for £70 a month. And I said, that is fine. 3 months later, that same client came back, and actually by this time I've actually increased my price a little bit, and she accepted it because it turns out that the accountant who was going to charge her £60 a month didn't do any work for her at all in the 3 months.
Wow. Amazing stories. And the other one, when we spoke a few weeks ago, you told me about how you've been using the cloud pricing software and getting some incredible results. Could you just talk a little bit about that, how you've been using that and the sorts of results you're getting with that software?
The cloud pricing software is amazing, Mark. Obviously, I'm not a member of any other clouding software such as AVN and so on. So we've always done the pricing ourselves, looking at roughly how long we think the work will take and calculating an annual price on that. With the cloud, again, I thought our prices have improved since we moved from hourly rate to value pricing since coming across you, Mark. But starting to use the clouding software that you've set up, I've now started using it for new clients, putting the information in there. I haven't done literally no change to the original setup that you've given us, but in front of the clients, showing them, selecting what they will need, what service they want us to do, and so on. Our pricing, it turns out that our prices are actually about 45% too cheap. Even though based on the value pricing, it was still about 45% too cheap. The first client I use it with, accepted it straight away. Again, that same client, I would have charged them about £195 a month previously. On the clouding software, that actually came up at £285. It's just a very, very small client, and they were happy. They were happy to pay that straight away.
Wow.
Second client was a renewal service. Again, they've been paying us £300 a month with the software. I put the information in there in front of them, review, and it came up to £450, which is £150 more than they paid the previous year. Again, because I did the pricing in front of them, went through the options and so on, even though it's almost a 50% increase, they were happy to also accept it. So I've used the pricing software now. I've used it only 5 times in the past couple of months because I saw the clients that with new clients we've had on board or clients who are due for a review, and that's now increased our monthly payment by almost £1,000 more than we were getting before. I keep pinching myself, Mark.
Incredible.
I wish I knew Mark 7 years ago.
So what do you put the success, how does the software help? What does it enable you to do in front of the clients? Does it increase your confidence? Is it a structure? Is it a process? What do you think is the key reason for getting those sorts of results?
I think it's the structure. It is taking out the guesswork. Previously, a lot of it is based on guesswork, what we're doing, that this is what we think the level of work that client is going to need. And we're basing our pricing on that. With the clouding software in front of the client, we're selecting and they're telling us what they want doing. So it's taking away the guesswork. They can see clearly what the areas of service we're going to offer for them, and therefore they're happy to pay. One of the problems I think previously as well is a lot of clients don't really see what we're doing, the level of work we're doing. They're just seeing the end result. They're just seeing a copy of their account. They're just seeing their quarterly report. They're just seeing their pay automatically completed. They're not seeing what's actually being done. With the clouding software, we're ticking in front of them, this is what you need doing, this is what you want, this is what you want. And we see exactly all the areas we're going to be covering for them. And therefore, when the final calculation come up, they're not too surprised because they've already seen all the amount of work that will be done before the price came up. So I think in their mind, they've already gone through all this, their eyes have seen all the stages of the level of work to be completed, and then the price doesn't seem so much. And also, I think one client actually said to me, "Oh, it's an awful lot of work we're doing for her." As a project manager for the NHS contractor, she would have been paid. She would have charged a lot more than we were charging her. So it made a huge difference, really huge difference.
Wow, I mean, that's a great explanation there, and I suppose I think what you've been saying is that it helps the client to see the amount of work that's taking place that you're doing, which I think is, from my own experience, is as a profession, accounting profession, we're not very good at explaining what it is that we do, and then as a result, people think that we're too expensive. Whereas you've now got a process, a system, which makes it very clear as to the huge amount of work you're doing, and so price doesn't seem an issue. Have you had any clients, just out of interest, that have gone through that process with you and they've questioned and queried why the price is much higher?
Yes, we've had a couple of clients have said that, and like I explained to them before, previously, a lot of the work, the pricing we're doing, we were kind of averaging what we think the industry, their type of industry cost will be, and it doesn't reflect the actual level of work that we were doing, which is not very profitable for us. And then they were very understanding about that.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Interesting, Sophia. Okay, so we've got probably time for a couple of final quick questions. The first of those two questions is, think about all the things that you've learned over the last 6 to 9 months and the things that you've done. What's been kind of the overall, if you were to sum up, what's been the overall result for you? How's it changed things for you?
It's allow us to have more time to increase our client base, take on additional staff, which is really, really good. So it's helped us to grow. It's given me the confidence to actually think, yeah, I'm actually running a business now rather than doing a job, which in a way, that's kind of how it was before. So it's built up my confidence a lot to be able to speak to clients, speak to my staff, and it's built up the confidence around the office generally, because all the staff have to see the big change within the company.
Yeah, awesome. And so, final question then is: there's so much stuff that you have done and so many great results. But if you were to share with people, perhaps your top 3 key learning points with pricing, what would be the 3 pieces of advice you'd give to another accountant about the way they price?
Never ever price on hourly rate. Always price on value. Secondly, don't underprice yourself. If the client is not willing to pay your price, they're not the right client for you, and move away. That will stop other accountants always trying to underprice each other and damage the industry. And I think that happens a lot. It stops people valuing what we do. And the third thing is use Go Cardless. It's not worth the hassle of having to wait for the client to make the payment to you. Encourage all your clients to pay you through Go Cardless.
Yes, so 3 fantastic tips. That's brilliant. So thank you so much for sharing all that and incredible results. And I'm looking forward to continuing working with you and hearing even more great stories, because you really are you're one of my kind of top students with going ahead and doing stuff, putting stuff into place, taking action and getting the results. Well done.
Thank you, Mark, and I'm looking forward to doing even more work with you as well.
Fantastic. We'll speak soon.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story.
Wow, what an amazing story and incredible results. Now, there were 2 things in particular that Sophia mentioned that you might be interested in. The first of those is she mentioned the use of the cloud pricing software for giving her the confidence to price in a much, much better way. If you're interested in finding out more about that software, it's software that I created recently, you can find a link in the box below, and also I'm going to put on the screen in a second a place to go to, the URL, the web address to go to if you want to find out more about cloud pricing. And if you're interested in working with me, just like Sophia's currently working with me, and joining one of my mentoring groups where I'll teach you how to price and I'll give you the systems and the resources, the processes, just like Sophia's brochure, then again, I'll put details in the comments box below and on the screen. And just email me if you would like to join my mentoring group. Bye for now. I always miss this flipping stop button. Where do we hit the stop button? It's somewhere. Stop. I hope you're not here still. I've finished recording. You can go and click on those links now.